Let's bring in Olivia Christian, our ESPN 1320 host and contributor, who's nodding her head in agreement. Obviously, you believe everything we just said is spot on in our analysis of De'Aaron Fox is flawless.
I'm not worried about him running out of legs now. And I know you guys aren't either. He's super young. And I'm also not afraid or alarmed about how he gets his points in any given night. As long as he gets his shots up, he makes some baskets. And I really think it's about the flow of the game, what makes sense. And last night, the paint was wide open. So go ahead and drive to the basket over and over again. They had no rim protection. So you have to take advantage of what you're getting from other teams. Be prepared to shoot the three. Obviously, you want that in his repertoire. But I like the fact that he attacked. He seemed a little angry at the fact that he wasn't getting a lot of calls, and that made him intense. And he brought that intensity for their whole 4 quarters, and I appreciate that from De'Aaron.
Yeah, if he's playing like that night in and night out, I mean, he can take 2 3-pointers a night. That's fine. I just want to see him play that aggressive, that attacking style night in and night out. That has to be the norm. I just talked about it with Damian. It has to be a situation where that's something that we look at every single night. And if he doesn't have it, we look at it as, oh, man, it was one of those nights where, you know, one of the rare nights when he just wasn't in attack mode. Like, that sucks. We know he's going to bounce back the next night and get back into attack mode. That's how life this year and moving forward for De'Aaron Fox with the Sacramento Kings has to go.
Definitely. I totally agree. But I also agree the other 4 guys that are on the court with him at that time have to bring it as well. And they did last night. And they taught, Tyrese afterwards in the press availability was like, oh, we played the game the right way. And the basketball gods responded. So as we talked about more, a number of times, is they know what they need to do, but they don't do it consistently. But I am about celebrating the wins when we get them and not setting myself up for disappointment 2 days from
Hobart? Is that what's coming here?
I'm trying to be positive. So I appreciate that effort that everybody brought last night, and that they recognized that in each other and didn't kind of hide behind, runs that the Lakers put out there. They kept following through with the game plan. And so I was celebrating. I had to go out to a bar to watch it last night, and it was fun. And you guys know I'm down in Los Angeles, so it was fun to be out with the people.
You're listening to D'Lo and KC along with Olivia Christian here on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge. You mentioned Tyrese Halliburton talking about the team playing the right way. Here's what he had to say last night.
I believe in playing the right way. I think when you don't play the game the right way, I think the basketball gods kind of don't allow you to make shots. It's just how it works. So, I thought defensively, we played the right way today. Even offensively, we shared the ball the right way. Got guys involved, and we fixed a lot of mistakes in the second half, just scrambling around, talking, and playing with energy, and that fixed a lot for us. So we were playing the right way, and I feel like that's what allowed us to make shots.
That is such an interesting remark on so many different levels.
How many times did he say it?
Like 3. Like, he's talking about playing the right way, but then he brings up defense. He brings up moving the ball on offense, and I guess to a certain way, the only thing that would have made it perfect, he was like, "Yeah, buddy, only shot 8 times. It was flawless." Like, I wonder, like, I guess, Olivia, it's exactly what you said. They know what they're doing wrong. And their inability to fix it, I think, is what's driving the fan base so crazy. And then when they do, like they did last night, we're all like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, where we're like, "Ooh, that's it, right there. That's what we're looking for, right there. That's what we want to see." And then, of course, D'Lo and KC and Olivia get in here like, "Yeah, you're capable." That's what this all boils down. Like, you're capable. We see it. We know you could do it. Why aren't you doing it more often? And perhaps more importantly, why aren't you doing it against the Portland G League team or the Charlotte G League team?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that kind of speaks to what I was talking about last week about expectation. When they go into a game and there are little expectations that they're going to win, or it's a 50-50 toss-up, they play hard, they show up, and they stay consistent. And then when they go against a team where you should beat these guys, they're on 10-day contracts or G leaguers coming in and then it's like they get stage fright. They forget all the basics. They don't have any court awareness. They start jacking up threes when it gets, and they lose all of that. I don't know what the answer to it is. And I can't imagine anybody from the outside like us would know that if the coaches have no idea. And Gentry and West are like, we say the same things. We don't know. We aren't changing our language. We aren't changing our focus and our scope. We go into the games, we practice, and we scout these teams. We know what we're going to do. Sometimes they do it. Sometimes they don't. And so that, I know as a fan, that's frustrating because you know they're capable of doing it. And they speak as though they know they're capable of doing it. But there clearly is some still mental hurdle around the consistency of it. And it may go back to what we talked about earlier, again, maybe last week or the week before, Ken, you were talking about there's some folks who don't want to be there. Say they don't have the emotional ability to get up game after game because they're thinking about next season or they're trying to get out. And that might be pulling them down. That's the only, rationale that I have is that there's some kind of cloud hanging around some of those guys. And that's what makes it difficult to come correct game after game.
Yeah, there's a cloud hanging around and there's a disconnect. There's not a we're in this together mentality in that locker room because there are guys who could care less what happens with the Sacramento Kings. They're just waiting to move on and go to the next part of their career. And there are guys who really care about what happens with the Sacramento Kings and the future of this franchise this year and beyond. And it's like it's the battle of energies in there, right? And both of them probably end up being frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the one group that's frustrated that they're here and the one group that they can't get everybody on the same page so they can all move forward together. And that's where Monty McNair comes into play, where it's kind of just letting this continue.
Yeah. Well, I still think, I know we're over halfway of the season right now. We kind of just got over that benchmark. I still think there is hope that we can produce for the sake of the fans, for the sake of the players that are going to be here beyond this season. And I think it goes back to, again, trying to get them, I don't know how to do this, to do some of the things that they did last night and to go in with a game plan, calling timeouts when things go a little bit crazy to readjust, remind them of how they got there, and then putting the players in position to be successful. One thing with De'Aaron, we were talking about the fact that he didn't take any threes last night, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not an analyst, right? So I'm not seeing all the chess pieces as clearly as some other folks do. But to me, it doesn't seem like there are a lot of plays being run throughout the game. There's a lot of, pick and rolls, but basically it's if the defense is set up, then it's you guys got to figure it out. And that's why they get stagnant. They start lining up behind a three and then they start jacking it up. If they start their offense earlier, get it down court in 2 or 3 passes, then it seems like there's a better flow. They have access to the basket. They're more determined and can get some second shot opportunities. But the challenge around that is, again, it's putting your players in a position that if they don't get that fast break, if they're not able to get the ball down the court quickly, what are we doing to continue to have movement on the court? So opportunities are wider open for them. And I'm not a big fan of Buddy taking threes when he's set. He's better, if it makes sense and it's wide open in the corner or something. But I feel like they're not running a lot of plays that do open up opportunities for De'Aaron to want to make a lot or take a lot of threes. And Tyrese, it's really just him deciding like, all right, this is a good enough situation. I'm going to go ahead and shoot, as opposed to, again, creating opportunities for your big shooters to get some points.
That's the weird thing too, is like Tyrese can be a big shooter. It's like, yo, hey, Ty, why don't you just create one for yourself here, bro? Like you gotta think you're the team's best 3-point shooter. Get at it.
I was screaming last night in the bar, Tyrese, shoot it.
How did that go over?
They're like, I put my hood on. I have
there you go.
My nose in my beer, and I'm barely looking up. They're not that aggressive down here, actually.
What kind of beer did you have?
Last night I was drinking Stella's.
Okay.
Stella's. Nothing.
I don't even know what that means. Like
Stella Artois. Stella's. It's a Pilsner, maybe.
Oh, what language are you speaking to me right now, Olivia? Like I'm not a beer guy. I don't know a lot about beer. Is that a dark beer or a crisp beer?
It's crisp beer.
Okay.
I don't drink beer that much, only when I go out to bars. It was an Irish bar. So like you either have whiskey or you have what's on tap. So whiskey, I would not have made it to halftime. So I had to have
legit
my beers. But yeah, I was screaming and checking Twitter. I'm like, am I the only one who's yelling Tyrese shoot? And I didn't see a lot of activity last night. I think a lot of people were like, I don't know, I'm gonna get my hopes up last night. But there were a lot of things that were celebrating. Most of what I heard in the bar last night from Lakers fans was about Westbrook.
Oh,
we know we can't get rid of him. And I think the good thing that the Kings did was they let him shoot. That's the number one takeaway. Go ahead and shoot.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, that was good. Alvin just fell back. He was just like, fall back, let him, because he'll do it. Like we were talking about whether, De'Aaron's strong shoot is shooting threes. Like, I don't have a problem. De'Aaron was 0 for 2 last night. We went, what did I say? November 28th was the last time he shot more than 5 threes in a game. And his percentage this year is like 20-something%. Everybody thought it was funny when Russell Westbrook was shooting him last night. He was 0 for 5 last night. He's 30% on the year. De'Aaron's like, ain't going to be me. Ain't going to make compilations out of me missing these shots. I just ain't going to do it anymore.
It's not just that he's missing, too. He's missing so bad. It feels bad to me at this point. It's like he's hitting every corner of the basket, behind the basket, below the basket, but the basket itself must just feel like the eye of a needle at this point. It's just trying to get it in there. But what I liked was that the Kings weren't they were like taking 2 steps back, go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah.
And the Lakers
it's the right play. Yeah.
The Lakers fans were upset last night about that.
Because Russ ain't gonna go, no, this ain't one for me. This one ain't for me.
Nah,
as much as we clown, as much as I joke about Buddy, Russ be like, I'm gonna make this one.
Right.
I'm gonna hit this one.
He's going
he's gonna keep putting them up. If you're gonna leave him there, he's gonna put them up, and coaches, they're gonna keep leaving him there. He's gonna see a lot of looks like he saw last night, and he's gonna have to figure out a way to get through it. And he has. I know the bad games are highlighted. Like Russ has had some moments this year where he's played well, but if they're going to do anything this year, they're going to have to figure some things out with Russell Westbrook on the floor. We're going to talk a lot more about the Sacramento Kings and the Lakers last night. Olivia will tell us some of the other good things that the Sacramento Kings did as well, some of the bad things that they did, and, well, a story that even I don't know. I would like the explanation of how Olivia became a fan of the football team that she is a fan of. Because it's not the 49ers, and it's not the Raiders. And the only thing stranger than Olivia's allegiance in football is her sisters. We'll explain all of this when D'Lo and Casey continue here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Clear.
Greeny level tease there. That was phenomenal.
That was good. I've been working on my greeny teases. I
don't know what you're about to say about my sister.
Your sister's football allegiances are wild.
Why?
Well, okay, I'm gonna save it for the air. It's weird. It's gonna be this. Call it what it is. It's weird.
Olivia, what bar did you go to last night?
It's called Dublin's.
It's down there by Macy's, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work over there.
Get out.
I saw the
bar.
No, I used to.
See, Kenny pouring up beer at an Irish bar. I'm sorry, what?
No.
I used to go Irish bar. It's black owned, that Irish bar.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. They used to show fights over there. They might still do it, but I used to work in it's the PWC building. It's like a couple blocks down. And it's that part, it's not far from that little city center with Target and everything, right?
Yeah. That's down the street from me.
I used to love working down there. That was fun.
I love living down here because it feels so much like San Francisco.
Yeah.
And that's what attracted me. If I have to live down here, I want to live in like the city, not suburbia kind of environment, and have like a neighborhood bar that I go to. But I didn't move down here until last year, December. So stuff was still shut down. But I was going to that bar before I moved down to this location. And so I hadn't been there in weeks. But there were a lot of heads there last night.
They'd be out there.
Yeah.
They got a nice little rooftop bar at one of those high rises. It's like 777 something. I don't know.
There were a ton of rooftop bars.
Really nice.
I'm making my way to all of them. as they open.
As the weather gets warmer. Weather's not bad down there, huh?
No, it was like 78 degrees yesterday.
Oh
I
man,
was
that is legit.
sitting on my patio working.
That's
taking
so
pictures.
awesome. That
Pictures
is
for the
so
gram.
awesome.
Mark Wong, Kenny O. Caraway. Put it on a shirt.
What a little Celtic, just a little shamrock on it. Kenny
Well, my
O.
name is
Caraway.
Olivia, so that works.
Wait, the name of the what?
No, well, I said my name is Olivia.
Oh,
So.
Maybach OMIA. That was a great song by him.
My brother's out in Minneapolis, and it's like -8.
Ugh.
And I'm like, Sophie.
That is not, no.
But I'm coming back. I'm coming to the Bay again soon. I will be there soon.
I need to go. I need to plan my annual for LA.
We'll get here before I leave.
Well, you're supposed to be leaving soon, though.
I know.
When are you coming back up? Have you decided?
I haven't
thought about it.
I'm looking at places. I've definitely been thinking about it. I'm making the emotional leap to high rent.
Yeah.
It's funny because LA people are like, oh, what brought you here? And I said, well, I was traveling a lot for work, so I decided to move out of the city, move into my family house, and save some money. Rent is a lot cheaper. And they're like, oh, you moved here to save money? I'm like, that's how expensive San Francisco is. You moved.
Yeah, crazy up there.
Yeah. And it hasn't really changed. All of those things about rent dropping, I'm like, it was to the moon before, and now it's just halfway back. So it's still nuts. But I'm coming back.
Crazy.
Wait, you guys, I have clear glasses. Tell me if these glasses look better. Do I look like a librarian?
You do not look like a librarian.
Let me see the other ones again.
These are my Clark Kent.
I think I like the Clark Kents.
Yeah, I like those.
Okay.
Many other ones aren't bad, but I like those.
All right. Well, in that case.
Where's is Shy?
Yeah,
I feel bad for Shy because every time I come on, it's where's Shy? Oh my god.
Shy ain't got the memo that it's every week now.
Oh gosh.
Shy ain't got the memo yet. He ain't got the memo.
Anyways.
Olivia. Shy said both. They both look good. All right, we're coming back. Live on the Odyssey app, live on twitch.tv/ESPN1320, live on youtube.com/ESPN1320, and of course, live here on 1320 AM. No matter where you are, we appreciate you so much for being with us, dealing with KC, along with Olivia Christian, our 1320 host and contributor, hanging out with us all the way until the top of the 4 o'clock hour. And so, Olivia, like the way we get through things as a family is because we're going to get to the football stuff, back to the Kings and all that. The way we get through things as a family is we just discuss them on the air. Like Casey and I, like if we ever have like issues, like it usually just hits the last segment of the show where we'll talk about it. So I was texting last week when we wrapped up, like, yo, like you having fun, you digging it, you like what we're doing, and hit me with something that shook me. And to be clear, I've known Olivia for decades, or I've certainly known your family for decades. I've known you probably at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Olivia says, yeah, no, I enjoy it. Like, I just get really nervous when you're on. I was like, wait, what? Like, me? Like, yeah. I was like, oh, were you nervous last week when I was gone and it was just Kenny? No, it's just you. Like, what? I just thought I'd point that out, Olivia, who I've known for 10 years.
believe you just told on me like that.
That's how we work through things as a family.
It's true. Well, I feel like this is like we've both been talking about our journeys in sports. I learned a lot from you from broadcasting, and I've had some amazing opportunities for reasons passing understanding. I don't know why people hired me, but they did. It's been awesome.
Because you're dope.
But I want to take care of this baby of your show and not ruin it and give a weird vibe. And I know Kenny has his year, and we're getting to know each other better now, and he's had the same kind of journey. And you guys are building this show together. And I'm just like, I just want to make sure that if you want to fire me, it's okay. My feelings won't be hurt.
She said it's like 2 weeks in. We're gonna treat her like David Culley, like bring her in here and just fire her. Like, come on, man.
So Flores, pouring it out for all the black coaches.
Right,
man. Insane. It's tough. It's real rough out here.
We have the gist of this show is like we just have fun and talk, and like many people watching, we forget it's a radio show sometimes. Like we just feel like we're just hanging out, talking, and having fun. That's all we do. And that's what we do with you now. And the reason you keep getting hired is because you're dope. And the great part about this is a lot like Kenny and I before D'Lo and Casey started, which is why this is all worked out so well. Olivia, like we've talked about doing something together for years. Like the second Olivia and I met, Mr. Swilly was like, y'all need to host a podcast together. like that day was like, and well, like, okay, I remember that. And like, oh, the hell with a podcast. Let's do a radio show together. And that's where we are. So as I say, we always, at some point, before tomorrow hits 4:00, Kenny's going to remind me of something I did at like 12:15 on Monday. And then we're going to get that all worked out before we go to the weekend. That's just the way it is. But as soon as you text me that, I was like, I'm bringing that up next week.
Oh gosh. Well, I appreciate that. Now I know what to not text you. Maybe I'll just text my dad or a therapist.
Well, no, the point is now you can get over it.
Yeah.
Now you can get over it and know
That's
that we just sit here and have fun and talk or listen to crazy Kenny talk crazy.
Well, I mean, it just keeps coming true. Barry Horowitz, you know what it is. I'm just saying. But I wanted to get your take on this, Olivia, of what happened at the Golden One Center last night with Russell Westbrook, the Kings ops. This is actually like a story. Like I've seen other people talking about.
No, it's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
And I mean, fair or foul for, I think I'll put it to how I look at it. It's fair for a good team to do that. I think. I don't know if it's fair for the Kings to do that. What do you think about all that? I
think it's foul. I think it's terrible that the Kings did it. I think it just reminds everyone that we haven't been anywhere in a long time. Like, wait, are you really the people to be talking about cold as ice? And I think it was right for Westbrook to be like, y'all playing right now, right? Do you know who I am? He's going through a bad streak right now. He can come out of it. He might shoot his way out of it, pass his way out of it. No. But there's no way the Kings should be calling out anybody at any point.
No. I agree. Not at all. I don't know what like we could have a good enough time at the Golden One Center watching that game without shots being taken.
Yeah, walk away with the win and say, thank God I was there for a good night and we won the game. And that's it. Everybody in the building, just be happy you walked away with seeing some good basketball, walking away with a win, having a nice crowd there, and leave it at that. But I just feel like that kind of stuff, you're asking for it. And
that's such a great. I just thought of like Kenny read something that Sean Cunningham reported earlier about how the NBA has like, that's not going to be a thing. That's not allowed. We're not going. Because then I just started thinking, what would I do like as the next opposing team where the Kings walk in? And the first thing that popped in my head is I'd play nothing but music from 2006. You just play music from 2006 for like the walk up or anytime they do anything, or you figure out some sort of way to reference. It's been an eternity since you've accomplished anything. So I think that I wonder if that's part of the reason the NBA was like, yeah, no, this won't be a thing, because the Kings would have been eviscerated in every arena they went into.
Protecting the Kings. People talking about, oh, Westbrook is soft. No, actually, they're probably protecting you, Sacramento, from just being the laughing stock even more of the NBA. And now in the NBA arena. So they're probably doing you a solid, Sacramento Kings, by saying we're stopping all that right now.
And the organization should be, I mean, it's terrible when you have the guests or, the folks who are going to the games be like 50% Lakers fans, but they're buying tickets. Somebody, at least you got that payroll coming in. You don't want to, I feel like you don't want to poke the bear there. You get humiliated everywhere you go. And it become a thing, like you said, Damon, it could become a thing across the NBA, and just cut that off right now.
Some of the top songs from the last time the Sacramento Kings made the playoffs.
I guess.
Yeah.
2006 was in Cal State East Bay. Just tell me when to go on that. I think that might have been 2005.
Oh no, I think that was, well, to be fair, I'm looking at like a Billboard 100. I don't even think Billboard exists anymore.
I don't know what Taylor Swift's best song was at that time.
Well, you're close. You got Shakira, Hips Don't Lie.
That was a big song.
Gnarls Barkley dropped Crazy.
That was a jam.
Chameleonaire dropped Riding. I'm gonna catch me riding dirty. Sexy Back. Wow. Beyonce's and Slim Thug's featured Check on It.
That was a big song. And do you know what movie that went to?
Check on It.
Pink Panther.
I don't even know where I was in the world in 2006. I'm trying to do the math. How old was I? Where was I living? I don't know how you have this recall, Kenny. You can remember draft picks, what songs are on the
because I remember that video. That's how I know. That's how I know what movie that song went to. I remember being in the paint.
So Tell Me When to Go was definitely out because Snap Your Fingers was out. These are all songs that were hot in 2006. Sean Cunningham, if you're listening, SOS came out in 2006 from Rihanna. So Sick. Miss P, if you're listening, Run It dropped.
Oh, Run It. Ooh. So Sick is,
man, goodness gracious.
What a great song.
Low-key bangers came out. Gold Digger was out.
Late Registration.
Yeah.
Wow,
okay.
2006 was a pretty good year.
It's not bad. You and Nat with E40 and T-Pain dropped that year. There's some heat.
Yeah.
I'm sprung to get me. I dropped that year too. Wow. 2006, not a bad year. As horrible as the early 2000s were for hip hop. Not terrible. I don't know
what's going on. BTC is back in here. Bad Take Co. He asked the question, who has watched the Pink Panther? Not me. Have you guys heard of a music video? I know it might be a foreign concept now, but that the song had a music video. And they have clips. I guess I'm the only one old enough to remember when you have a song that's on a soundtrack and the actual video for the song, they would play clips of the video movie in the video.
Kenny, I wasn't watching music videos in 2006. I don't think I've watched a music video since 1996.
No, music videos were still popping in 2006.
Cap.
Yeah, they were. The Beyonce Check on It was.
They were. Music videos
2006.
Yeah, they were still. They're still a thing now.
Tell me, what was a huge video? Gold Digger was a huge video.
They're still making videos out there. I mean, they're not seeing as many, but they're all on YouTube. They're not.
I know they're making them. I just don't think they're a thing.
The Flashing Lights video was kind of weird.
Vaguely.
I don't know.
Put the boyfriend in the trunk of the Mustang.
Wait, what? Okay. We're this rabbit hole is getting deep. Let's just walk away from that. The point is the Sacramento Kings shouldn't troll anyone. That was the point. Go ahead.
Yes. I was just going to point out that both of you have sung on this show today. Because I know Kenny always sings at the end of his Drake bars.
Yeah.
And when you're doing Drake bars, I mostly watch Damien because his facial expressions as you're going, he's like, yes, that's a good. Oh, creative. We're done.
I'm laughing because that's frustratingly true. That's what That's what I'm doing because I know if I don't catch something, he's going to Kenny-splain it right afterwards.
I'll bring it back.
Even if you do catch it, he's going to explain. So you just sit
That's
back.
true. I'm gonna bring it back. Hey, I always forget what's the name of the thing. Quest. What's the thing where they explain the lyrics? I'm just doing that every time.
Okay,
I appreciate it. I'm
I'll
old.
go
I'm
old.
like, what did he say? Oh, that is great. King. I'm a king. You're a king.
You know what I'm saying? Just look at that. If I ain't the Sacramento Kings, I'm a Sacramento King.
But you're a king. Am I a king?
You're a queen.
Oh, okay.
You didn't get mentioned in Drake bars today, Olivia. You got to wait for you didn't get mentioned in Drake bars today, so you have to wait for the next Kings win.
I couldn't put together Need with Monarch. That didn't work.
I feel like Eminem could have done it.
Work that in.
Eminem could have done it. Orange. He can rhyme.
Is that the word everybody thinks about because he brought it up? He's like, you can't rhyme orange with anything.
It came back in my memories or something. I was like, oh, this whole thing, and it stood out my brain.
Wait a minute. Look who's in the house on YouTube.
Shy the man, welcome to the party, buddy. We knew you'd be here Thursday at 3:00. We mentioned that we won't get Drake bars again until the Kings win. Now,
yes,
the next 3 games for the Sacramento Kings,
the
12-31 Houston Rockets,
then
the 12-31 Houston Rockets again, and then they got a couple of days off before they play the 9-31 Detroit Pistons. There's no way anything less than a 4-game winning streak is disappointing. Like anything less is disappointing.
Yes.
But I don't think anyone believes a 4-game winning streak is about to happen, despite those records that I just put out there.
I agree with you. That's so sad. You're like, well, 12-31, 9. Yeah, this seems like they're going to be losing a couple in a row here. I'd be happy with 50-50 split. If we can get 2.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I want and I hope for big things. But the reality is when they play those teams, as we said, when they're expected to win, that's when it's nutballs. That's when it's the craziest loss. That's when it's do they have a limp? Are they missing a leg? Is one hand tied behind their back? Did they get drunk last night? Or that's when it's the craziest. Yep. So I'm trying to manage my expectations and just say, let's walk away with 2. If we can get 2.
But that's not. But and that's fine. Those are your expectations. But the problem is that's bad.
It is. But
because
we have to live in the reality of it, though. Like we're just going to be mad that it's bad forever. I guess.
Yes. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna be mad that it's bad.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And I think the Rockets just beat somebody. Did they just beat the Spurs?
No, Spurs are.
I don't know. I'll look. Talk amongst yourselves. I feel like they just beat somebody. They did. They beat the Spurs last night.
They got young talent.
128-124. They beat the Spurs last night.
Any given night, any team can win. So they may be walking in on Friday feeling good about themselves, and that's great. And I think the Kings might be walking in on Friday feeling good about themselves. So it'll hopefully at least be a battle. What I really want to see is good basketball. Of course, we want wins, but I kind of have been lowering my expectations or my hopes week after week, and that I want to see intensity, consistency. I want them to run. And I want, we were talking about earlier, I heard you talking about De'Aaron and his ability. He's got a quickness to him, right? Like it's as if he makes a decision all of a sudden to turn on the Jets. It's like, let me turn it up, and then he gets to the basket. And I feel like that's a similar situation with Tyrese. It's like all of a sudden they remember they have this tool, this gift, but it's not something that comes to them naturally to look for opportunities for that. But I'm hoping if they watch game film that they will see the things that they succeeded in last night and apply them tomorrow night and do it again and close out quarters. That's one of the big things they did last night. They were down every quarter. They won the third quarter, but they hustled their way back into the game and didn't let the quarter end being down by 12, being down by 20. They were down by 4 or 5 each quarter. And so that set them up for the third quarter to really kind of win that quarter. So I think having gone through that, hopefully, again, they will build upon it. But at the same time, it's, setting some realistic expectations about what they're capable of at this point. They are capable of putting on a night like they did last night, but they all are capable of going on a 4-game losing streak. And so that's why I'm like, let's 2-2, like Chuck Woolery. Let's just do it.
You win. That'd be really bad. 2-2 in this stretch would be awful. When you
especially because you already got one.
Yeah, you already
got one. So it's
one more.
There would not be any type of reasonable reaction to that. Like there'd be a lot of anger in the city for a team that they're already frustrated with. It'd be a lot of anger around here,
and it's warranted. But I guess it's just me, like self-preservation, emotional self-preservation.
And that's the thing. Like, it's fine to lower your expectations, but damn, this is where we are. We're lowering them. We're lowering them this far. Man, and the sad reality is, I know you're not alone in that thinking, and that's a whole reason it was a topic of discussion today, because it's like you're looking like, all right, Houston, you don't want to fall asleep against the Rockets on these 2 nights, and then you come back, you got a couple of days off, MLK, all of that stuff, go out and beat Detroit. All right, what happens after that? Not us. Nope. It's like, well, come out and really, set the tone on Friday night, carry over some of that momentum from, the Lakers win. And like, how many times have we talked after a win about momentum, about building something, about carrying something over? And then how many times has it actually happened? I guess it's probably very little.
After every win, they say the same thing in their press conferences as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good win. We played basketball the right way. We were consistent. We played good defense. Like, yes, these are all the things. This is the winning strategy, the formula we need to follow. And again, the coaches all say the same thing. We're not saying magical things every night. This is the basics of basketball. But yeah, it's emotionally crushing. It's gonna be crushing to be heading into a weekend and saying, can we get just one more win against these teams? But that's the reality of where we are. We just are. So let's watch football.
Here's a question, and we're going to transition to football in just a second. Here's a question for everybody listening: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, KC. Is it more frustrating that they know and can't do anything about it, or would it be more frustrating if they didn't know?
It's more frustrating that they know and can't do anything about it. Like, if you just didn't know, you couldn't get it. I mean, yeah, there's a level of frustration there, but at least you have no idea. But if you know what the issue is and you're still continuing to let it happen, come on, that's unacceptable, man.
If the talent is there and you know the talents that you're capable of doing it, you know it, you have the tools, and you just don't do it, that's disrespectful to yourselves as men going out there every day. You're not respecting the game. You're not respecting yourselves and your team and your fans.
Yeah.
That's like, there has to be some kind of weird reason that we're not getting at. And it could be management, leadership, administration. I don't know. There's something there beyond just bad vibes from a couple players. There's also there's something there.
Big weekend of football ahead.
Wait, Damien, you didn't answer.
Yeah, I think it's more frustrating that they know and
don't do nothing
address it. That they know, they address it, and then I mean, it's not even like at the end of the game where we're like, oh man, that looked familiar. We know in the first couple of minutes of a game, like, oh, it's one of those. Okay. We know by the second quarter whether we need to keep watching or not. Like that I think that's more frustrating. Making the same mistakes over and over again and not being able to identify them, especially when you're doing the same thing, that's incompetence. That's all that is. This team isn't incompetent. No one running this, no one leading, coaching this team is incompetent. No one playing in these games are incompetent. They know, they recognize, but still regularly enough of them get caught flat-footed after tip. And it's
infuriating.
I can't lie. I'm fully expecting Friday night to suck. Only because we're sitting here talking about carrying over, building, momentum. They never reward momentum. What's that? I'm fully expecting tomorrow to go poorly. And it shouldn't. It's just me. And maybe that's just me being, as Olivia was saying, I'm protective. I'm lowering my expectations and trying to protect myself here. So I'm just like, nah, I knew they were going to lose that one. They'll bounce back Sunday. Maybe they'll get Wednesdays, but I'm expecting something to go wrong over the course of the next few days.
You have evidence-based expectations.
I love that. Stealing that. Evidence-based expectations. That's absolutely it.
Wow.
Kenny's talkative today here.
I'm just saying that's just now. What more can I say about that? With the fact that that's where we are. You got two of the worst teams in basketball coming in here for 3 games, and we expected to go bad. That's just.
Let's talk about something that makes you happy. Let's talk about 49ers Cowboys this week.
49ers absolutely make me happy. 49ers Cowboys is the matchup. I love to see it. I've been calling for it. Let's go.
Now, if you were with us during the commercial break, O's had to, she's been to the Bay, LA. I mean, you've got to be a 49ers fan, right? Nope. No, see, no. Turn it away. Not a 49ers.
I'm not a hater.
That's fine. Not a 49ers. That means you've got to be a Raiders fan, right? You're a Raider fan.
If I had to pick between the two, I would pick a Raider fan, but I'm also not a Raiders fan.
Okay. I encourage.
I like that comment.
You are a fan of what football team?
The Chicago Bears.
Yikes.
As my point. No, let me tell you. First of all, in terms of like SF or Oakland, when you're in San Jose, it's really a crapshoot where you land, who you go for. As a family, we were raised. Again, I was in San Jose, but we were like Oakland folks. So the A's, the Raiders, those were the games we went to. And when they played San Francisco teams, we would go for Oakland. I've never lived in Oakland. I've only lived in San Francisco. I love that city. But I feel like a lot of people, they become fans of teams that their parents were fans of. My parents are transplants from the South. They were raised and born together in Florida, northern Florida, like almost Alabama. And they came to California as hippies. So they had a lot of teams that they loved that were from the North. So like the Yankees, the Bears, like all of those East Coast teams. So I was raised watching a lot of that. And that's why I'm a Bears fan, which you should take pity on me for being a Bears fan.
I do. I do. I assure you, I do.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's a hard knock life.
My brother's a Dolphins fan. He was a quarterback, so he loved Dan Marino. He's heartbroken over. Well, he's not heartbroken, but he's shocked by Flores. But we might get him in Chicago now. He's interviewing. So there's a lot of random fandom in my house from an outsider's perspective, but in-house we had a lot of different teams and hats and logos, and it made sports fun.
And none more random than your sister Shonda, who is both a fan of the Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys.
What?
And that stems from a bigger hate of the Niners. Right, so she hates the Niners. She likes the Cowboys. But if we had to pick between the two, she would pick the Raiders over the Niners. So that's where that comes from. I can explain it all. It all makes legit sense to me. It's all logical, and we could.
People hate on the Niners all the time. It's nothing new. When you have 5 Super Bowls in your lineage, and you can go back and talk about, probably should have about 10 or 11.
Oh God!
When you have the all-time moments that you have in this franchise's history, I mean, it's gonna draw a lot of people in, but it's also gonna make a lot of people, envy you and not want to see you succeed. I'm okay with it. I deal with it all the time here in the chat. I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't want to see the Niners be successful. They prayed on their downfall all year long. Then, they made the playoffs when a lot of people thought they would win 5 games. Ramsey, our guy, said they'd win 5 games this year, 4 or 5 games. John said they'd go 8-9. People were saying a number of different times they weren't going to make the playoffs. I took it all in stride. There's the same people are saying that the Cowboys are going to work them on Sunday. And all I continue to say is, look, man, I feel good about my team. I know Cowboys fans feel good about their team, as they should. I just feel good about my team. That's all I can say.
I love that you talk about it in a way where it's like you're a member of the team, like, oh, they're hating on me, and
like they've been.
I deal with a lot of hate, and
I mean, I do, but
that.
It just comes with the territory. Like it's not like I'm I don't know, a Jets fan or a Colts fan where nobody really cares about you. If you're going to be one of the teams that are on top, if you're going to be one of the top franchises in the history of the league, you have to be able to take the good with the bad. I mean, this comes with the territory, and
it does.
All right, people don't want to see my team succeed. I take it as a compliment.
One thing I really love about both the Raiders and the Niners is the legacy of those teams, the coaches. Bill Walsh, what they did for women and minorities getting in the league, getting in positions. I respect that. So I have love for Walsh doing what he did, for Al Davis doing what he did, to
great Amy Trask.
Trask. There's that history there is something, and of course, it being in the Bay Area, the place where a lot of these things can change. We can be bold, be ourselves, be crazy out here in the Bay Area, and the rest of the country is like, what? And then 10 or 15 years later, they're doing the same thing. But those guys are brave and stepping up, recognizing talent when talent was presented in front of them, and hiring them and taking on the haters, the doubters, as they did. So I respect both teams in that regard. And for this weekend, the Niners-Cowboys game, that's the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's going to be close, actually.
Kenny's got it 55-3. Like he's got the 49ers running away with this.
Hey, look, it might be 55-3 Cowboys. For all we know, the Cowboys are a great team.
Great team. This reeks of humble heart. Did we just switch to humble hearts?
I absolutely have humble hearts.
Okay.
Like the Cowboys are a tough opponent. Okay. I got these guys, these gritty group of 49ers. They're just gonna go out there, go on the road, and against 100,000 people in the stand.
Oh, okay.
They're just gonna go out there and play hard and see what comes of it.
You're a funny dude, man. You're one of the funniest people I know.
One of the hard things for me, obviously, like the Bears, we have a difficult, environment we're in.
Difficult life, yeah.
Drinking. I miss Lovie Smith. I thought he was fired too quick. But when I watch Hard Knocks on HBO, that's my second team that I love for this season. Like once I see athletes as people, you see their families, you see them trying to make the team, that kind of thing, I suddenly have a love for them. And with last seasons, or it comes on over the summer, it was the Cowboys again. So of course I love the Cowboys a little bit. So I have to say I have a little bit of a hope that they win over the weekend. Team
usually never does good. And not just the Cowboys, but the team that's on Hard Knocks. That never works out.
It's the curse of the Hard Knocks.
When was the last time I don't think a Hard Knocks team has ever made the Super Bowl, but have they ever made like a conference championship?
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
That's interesting, though. It just dawned on me the Cowboys and the 49ers didn't even make the playoffs last year.
No. Yep.
Because you brought up Hard Knocks, and these are two. What were the 49ers finished? Did they finish with 10 wins?
No, Niners?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah, what was the 49ers record?
7 this year, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
I did watch Hard Knocks in season. This in season was the Colts. I have not watched that.
So I all I want to see is the last episode. That's the only thing I want to see is when they lose to Jacksonville. And I know it just came out, and I'll watch it. Haven't watched. I don't know. Hard Knocks it's kind of dead to me. I haven't watched it in years. Maybe the pandemic, like when they were doing it on Zoom, and it was like, yeah, this ain't for me, and I never got back into it. Maybe that was it. But I didn't. I like when you were talking about the Hard Knocks team. It was like I was trying to think, who was it? And you said it was the Cowboys. It was like, oh, that's right, it was the Cowboys. I didn't watch a single episode, but I want to go see the Hard Knocks in season episode because I want to see what the hell Frank Wright and that group has to say after losing to the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what I need to see. That's the content I'm here for.
Well, didn't you wonder why they kept bringing up Trayvon Diggs' son in season? They kept having him on camera. Like
I
he's
do. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was really cute on Hard Knocks. And he kept calling Dak Prescott Patrick Mahomes to his face. And he's like, Trayvon's like, here, it's your hero who you love. He's like, you know, name? He goes, Patrick Mahomes? I'm like, no, I'm Dak Prescott.
That's awesome.
He was super cute. Super cute.
James Tyree, you keep saying KC and the 49ers always be proving the trap wrong. Look, man, all we can do is what we can do out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like people can have their opinions of the 49ers and what they think is going to happen, what they hope is going to happen to the 49ers. They're entitled to that. Niners just going to go out there and continue to work hard and continue to try to get better every day, man. That's all they can do, man. Brick by brick. Brick by brick.
I have no dog in this fight. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying it's brick by brick.
Don't put me in the category of hating on the Niners. I'm kind of indifferent to them. But like I said, I kind of like the Cowboys more this season, mostly because of Trayvon Diggs' son. So, and yeah, that confusion of who Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott is.
Jesse says a Hard Knocks team has never made an AFC or NFC championship game, which makes sense because Hard Knocks teams can't make the playoffs. Like they're teams that didn't make the playoffs the year before. So they're, you know, not that a jump to an AFC championship is impossible or an NFC championship is impossible. And we certainly could see it this year. If the Dallas Cowboys can somehow get past the juggernaut that is the San Francisco 49ers, though.
It's going to be a good game on Sunday, you know?
It is. It's going to be a
matchup. Like Maybach said, it's the matchup of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the one. And we fell down a dangerous rabbit hole of ratings a couple of days ago. I'm talking about college football and the national championship. Boy, they're going to be tuned into this one on Sunday. I think we might see some numbers for that Sunday afternoon game that we haven't seen in a long, long time.
I think you're going to get highest rated wild card game.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Maybe all time or of the last 10 years or something like that. I think you're going to get one of those.
Yeah.
The Cowboys hadn't really been in the playoffs that much either. As of late, they got one against Seattle. That was on a Saturday night. And then they played the Rams again on a Saturday night. And then other than that, had they not been in since Dez caught it?
Oh, man, that might be because I feel like because the year after Dez caught it was the year. I think that was the year did Zeke got suspended for 6 games. And that kind of blew everything up. Like, and he got suspended like 6 games they drew it out, and he was suspended like in the middle of the season or something. And I think they missed the playoffs that year. Yeah, it's tough. Cowboys haven't been around a ton.
Their first playoff game in a while, at least in that time slot, like that Sunday, time slot wild card week.
This is about Cowboys 49ers.
Yeah, that
time slot, that getting the draw. It's about that rivalry.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
you got a winner? Can you pick a winner in that one? Not who you're rooting for. Like, who do you think is going to win?
I mean, go ahead and pick the Cowboys like everybody else.
No, I think the Niners are going to walk away with it. But I also think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way.
Man, Niners can get blown out by the Cowboys,
Okay, here you go. He's doing this thing. He's switched.
Your bets. It could be.
That's what he's doing. He's prepping himself. He does this all of the time when a big game comes up. Like, we're all used to it. We know what you're doing. You're not fooling anybody. Like, we get it. You just went on this big tangent about how no one believes in you and how everybody's against the 49ers, and now you're flipping gears. Oh, humble hearts. We'll see what happens.
These Dallas Cowboys, chances. I just feel good. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's a good team. I don't know what's going to happen. Just humble hearts. I'm here for it, and we'll get you ready. Olivia, thanks as always for hanging out with us.